Most people in the gym are training their glutes wrong, and it's exactly why we're not seeing any results. So if you're putting in the work but nothing's growing, chances are you're either skipping or not properly doing the key glute building exercises. Hi, I'm Alexandra, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm taking you through my full glute-focused leg day, including the exact exercises I use and the same form tips that actually make a difference.
Let's see how this goes. I've literally no idea what angle this is on at the moment, so hopefully you guys can actually see me. But we're just going into a warm-up for hip thrusts. So I've got my bench ready behind me. Normally, I have been doing this, with the Swift machine. However, I've been finding it slightly difficult to kind of get the correct positioning. So I have decided to go back to the tried and tested barbell hip thrust because it's really good. Quick squeeze the top. So that's 60 kilos just for a workout weight, but I am going to shift this because that's a little bit high. So like weighing, kind of trying to get onto it from the floor, it's a bit too high for me. So what we're trying to do is see if we can find something a little bit lower to rest my back on, or turn this around and just use the end and see if that's any better for me. But I'm looking around and I haven't got lots of options, so we'll see what I can find. And then we'll do another warm-up set, probably with 80 kilos, and then we'll take it to my top set, which I don't know what weight it's going to be yet, but let's go find out. Alright, let's test this. No, that seems to work quite well actually. So with this movement, what I'm just really trying to do is keep those neutral legs, so knees to ankle, and really push through with my glutes, keeping my chin tucked at all times, because what happens if you start throwing your head back or anything like that, your lower back starts to take over and you kind of lose the sturdiness of the movement, I guess. So it's something to really keep in mind, is making sure that we keep our back nice and neutral, engaging our core, and also making sure that we keep our chin tucked and just flow through the movement. I'm already tired, which is awesome. My sports bra keeps coming down, so luckily I'm wearing a top. It's very nerve-wracking because it just doesn't want to. I wore the wrong one. I'm wearing like a very much upper body day, low support, kind of show off the gains in upper body day kind of sports. So it's not doing much for supporting me during the session, I will admit. Okay, we've got 100 kilos on the bar. Got to stay hydrated because otherwise I think I'll pass out, which is fantastic. Make sure the bar is lined up. When it comes to doing a barbell hip thrust, when you're not on a Smith machine or any other sort of machine, you're doing it straight off the barbell, always make sure that your hips are lined up with like the grooves. So make sure that the grooves and that centre piece is actually lined up to the middle of your body. Otherwise, you're going to end up feeling really uneven movement. So that's always something important to keep in mind when you're doing hip thrust. Okay, I was going to do 80, but I've decided to do 100 kilos on the hip thrust. Rather than doing 60 and 80, I've just gone straight to 100. So we'll see how or if this moves. Okay, let's get it. Okay, feet positioning. Let's go. 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Okay, she moved. A little bit heavier than people like, but she definitely moved, so that's always an absolute benefit. Because your glutes are such a big muscle, you can really load this movement. I mean, your glutes are the biggest muscle in your body, so more often than not, you can go heavier than you think you can. It's a very great movement, but it's tiring. It takes a lot out of you, which is why I always do it first in my workouts, because if I leave it for even second or third, there's a good chance I'm not going to do it because it's so taxing. Like, I'm exhausted and I'm not even on my full set yet. Okay, let's load this up. Okay, I'm thinking I'm going to go for a heavy 5 to 6 reps. So we're working with 100 at the moment. I think I'm going to add on 2 15s, so 30 kilos. Get on there, get moving, come on. You like really have to lift and shove when you're doing this. Like, lift the barbell and shove it on there. I feel like my relationship with barbell hip thrusts are so hit and miss because I love them because they're a fantastic movement for like growing your glutes. If you want that big peach, then you need to be doing your hip thrusts. They're so tiring, they're so taxing. However, they're just a staple. Like, they're just something, like even men need to have hip thrusts in their routine because they're such a great movement, although it doesn't feel like it when you're doing them. But, you know, in hindsight, you look back and you see the gains, you're like, oh, alright, that's why we do it. You have to remind yourself, that's why we're doing it. Oh my gosh, I'm running. Okay, so let's see how this goes. I've literally no idea what angle this is on at the moment, so hopefully you guys can actually see me. But we're just going into a warm-up for hip thrust. It's going to be a shock to the system. Right here, guys, this is 130 on the barbell. Hopefully, 5 to 6. Also, literally hyping myself up in my head right now to get this done. Just do it. Just move it. Come on. Let's go. And 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Alright, that was a 4. It's not quite what we were going for, but you know what? We'll take it. I think next time I might lower it by a little bit and try and get that extra like rep or 2. But yeah, you know what? It's fine. We'll take it. We will take it. Hard work. Hard work. So I'm making him help me get the weights off. Oh, this is easier if he does it than me. So springing to help, and then it's much easier than trying to do it when you're moving on to some Bulgarian split squats now. So as you can see, I've put the pad for my foot here, then also I've got the dumbbell ready to go. This bar just happens to be here, but do you know what? If you decide you're going to fall over, it's kind of handy to grab onto. So I'm going to keep it there because you never know, like sometimes you do just end up falling on the floor, and trying not to die is easier said than done. So we're going to go with that. So let's see how these go. Okay, in the words of Whitney Simmons, let's get it. Or legs get it, did she say? Legs get it. So let's see, am I too close here? Let's try it out. I think we're good. So the way I like to do my Bulgarian split squats is you need to remember that you're pushing through your glute. So you need to remember that you're pushing through your working leg glute. Okay, so on this case, my right hand side is pushing that weight up. So I like to hold usually the weight in the opposite hand and then put my hand on the hip of the working leg. It just gives me a bit more stability and I feel a little bit less like I'm going to fall over. Gosh, this burns. Okay, just a quick 8 for a warm up on both legs. Make sure I'm feeling it, make sure the position feels good. So with your Bulgarian split squats as well, rather than going closer and going straight up and down, you're trying to go a little bit further away, tucking forward a little bit, and you're going on a diagonal, rather than up and down. If you're going up and down, you're targeting more of your quad, targeting more of your quad. If you're going forward and backwards, you're targeting more of your glute, which is obviously the whole point of usually the whole point of doing Bulgarian split squats. If you're going to do them, you're going to do it right, because it hurts. Okay, what leg does do? Just did that one, didn't I? Yes, it's this one. Okay, so swap it over. Again, this is quite handy because I can hold on to it. A bit of a focus for that mind-muscle connection. 7. Ow. 8. Alright, actually I'm going to keep this. I'm going to swap this out for a working set weight. That's the 10 kilos for a warm-up. We're going to go for, is that here? 15. We'll go for 15. So just placing that down. So I'm ready to go. One thing like I like to remember when I'm in the gym as well is that you are here to push. You are going to be tired at the end of it. It's kind of the whole point, but also you'll feel so much better when you get home and just after your workout knowing that number one, you've pushed your body, you've exercised, you've got your muscles moving. Not only that though, it's fantastic for your long-term health. It's fantastic for preventing Alzheimer's, osteoporosis. So it's not just about looks as well, although you will see the gains as you go, but do you know what? It's so important to remember like the whole picture of health, I think. Well, it helps me anyway. So if you're like getting ready to go to the gym or hell in the middle of the gym session or whatever, really just like push through. Okay, going in for our first working set. I believe I start on this leg, so I'm just going to again go back to some legs so they get roughly an equal amount of rest. So left foot is going up on that pad around the ankle, on your ankle. Right foot is going forward. Quick tester to make sure that I'm happy with the positioning. Happy. Okay, perfect. Going down to get my 15 kilo dumbbell, bringing that up, pushing through this right hand side glute. So when you do this movement, you do want to make sure that you're thinking about the glutes you're pushing through, not that back ankle, because sometimes you accidentally end up pushing with your back ankle as well, but you want to be really forcing that weight through this working glute, and you'll feel it if it's working, trust me. So like, if you're training today as well, let me know what you're training, what your workout split is at the moment, what's working for you. I always find it really interesting to know what other people are doing and why, because well, different things work for different people. It may be that you're a morning gym person, an evening gym person, so let me know, because I'm really interested to know what everyone's getting up to at the moment as well. Something that I would suggest as well is recording some of your sets. I know that's easier than done because I'm here on a Sunday recording this session because the gym's empty and it's awkward talking to a camera and being in the gym. So I understand that it can be awkward kind of recording sets, but it just allows you to compare your form to perfect form. So if you're feeling like something may be wrong, sometimes it's a lot easier to look back and see a video of where your positioning was compared to in the moment feeling like you're not doing it right or not sure if you're doing it correct. So also, you know what, it's really good to see down the line how your form increases, or maybe you're doing Bulgarian split squats and seeing how maybe your glutes improve over that time. So it's just something that you can think about doing. Okay, moving on to hyper extensions. So these, again, fantastic for the glutes, but when it comes to the setup, you kind of need to be a little bit specific about it. So this bar here, as you can see, the top of the pad needs to be below your hip bone. So when you're lining it up with a little bend in your knees, make sure your feet are up against that pad because that's what's holding you on. A bend in your knees and making sure that you can actually take your pelvis and your hip bone over that pad. So you don't want to be sat on that pad, otherwise you're not going to get the right kind of extension. From here, you're going to let go, which is, by the way, trustworthy. I always think it's going to tip on me, but trust it. And you're going to go down and you're pushing through the pad. You're trying to push your glutes through the pad. Okay, now we're moving on to a working set. So again, getting back into that position, make sure that your knees are where you want them, make sure your hips are bending over, making sure that your calves are up against the pad. And then here's my weight that I prepared earlier, so placing whatever weight it is that you want on the bottom of the machine, and then you're just going to hack onto the extend down, pick up the weight and bring it back up, pushing through the pad, again with your glutes, as you will feel it. Although I will admit, this took me a few weeks of getting used to it, getting used to my positioning, kind of getting comfortable with the movement before I fully started feeling my glutes, but you will get there. Okay, so we're moving on to leg curls. So obviously first thing you need to do, actually no, let's take that, there's a few things you need to do when it comes to leg curls. You want to make sure that the back seat is actually positioning you so that you can reach, obviously, the pad at the bottom to put the back of your calves on top. I like to put just above my ankles, so kind of 3/4 down my knee, to my knees, my ankles. Then making sure that you're actually comfortable on your seat so that your back's not too far back. You also want to make sure though that your back is actually fully pushed up against. You don't want your butt all the way up here. So you want to make sure that it is fully pushed back onto the pad. Okay, and then the next thing you're going to do is this achieve at the top. Obviously set your weight to your warm-up weight, so that is my first one. And then lower this as low as it will go, push it down so that you're really stuck in there, and that will really make sure that it's only your hamstrings that are actually doing the work, otherwise other things start to take over. Okay, warm-up set, pushing through. So taking the movement slow, especially for the warm-up, really get your hamstrings to engage all the way up to the top, turning it right the way down, all the way up to the nice straight leg, all the way down. That's getting that full stretch which you need on your hamstrings all the way down. Maybe some quick ones, really get those hamstrings engaged before we'll be going on to a working set. Also, another thing that I really like to do is logging it just on notes. So I will show you basically on my notes. All I do is I put in my workouts. I've got 4 workouts a week, 2 upper, 2 lower, and then I go through it updating my weights. Whatever weight I'm working at, I will keep that weight until I reach about 12 reps with the weight, depending on which one I'm doing. And then I will up the weight, and then it'll start usually at 5-6 reps and go again. Okay, moving on to my first working. Wait, let's go. Make sure my back's up, because as you can see when I did that, it all started being made my back kind of curved. So really just making sure I've got that pushed back. Get your legs out, free me. Okay, so we're nearly at the end of the workout now. So this is my last movement for this session. So I did hip thrusts, deadlifts, extensions, and also leg curls. Sometimes I will also throw in RDLs into the session, however I did them yesterday, so my lower back is, you know, with RDLs, it's one of those movements, it's sometimes it works, sometimes they don't, sometimes it hurts my back, sometimes it doesn't, so sometimes you just have to play it safe. So that concludes my 4 session of the week, my Glute-Focused lower session. I am going to upload my other 3 sessions that I do during the week over the next couple of weeks, so make sure you like and follow and come back for more as well. I'm now heading to the spa for some R&R, so a little bit of rest and recovery because it's been a long week, so I'll upload those as well for you to have a little look into what I get up to there.
enjoyed my glute-focused gym workout, and like I said, I'm going to post the other 3, so please subscribe and you can see those too. It just gives you a little bit of an insight into the reality of going to the gym, what it actually looks like, what it feels like, how I feel during those workouts as well. You can of course write it down, give it a go yourself, and hopefully enjoy the session and get some really good glute gains, because that's what we're here for. We're here for the good glute gains. So thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye.